The champagne was Dom Pérignon, $400 a bottle, and my parents had bought 6 of them for their New Year's Eve dinner party. I know because I'd reimbursed them $2,400 3 days ago, a quiet transfer they thought came from Vivien. "Emily's basically unemployed," my sister announced, her voice cutting through the chatter of 32 guests gathered in my parents' dining room. She'd waited until everyone was seated, until the first course had been served, until maximum humiliation could be achieved. Everyone went quiet. Forks paused midair. Conversations died. I smiled and set down my wine glass with careful precision. "I just bought a Tesla outright." The words landed like stones in still water. Mom's champagne spilled, the golden liquid spreading across the white tablecloth in a stain that would cost $85 to dry clean. I knew because I'd paid for the linen rental too. "How is that possible?" "I wrote a check," I said simply. $73,000. No loan. No financing. Just walked into the dealership last Tuesday and bought it. Vivien lunged across the table, her hand reaching for my phone like she could somehow delete the truth I'd just spoken. "You're lying. You don't have that kind of money. You can't even." My phone pinged. The sound cut through the chaos like a bell. Every eye in the room turned to the device sitting next to my plate. I picked it up, glanced at the screen and felt something warm settle in my chest. "That's the delivery confirmation," I said. "The Tesla will be at my apartment tomorrow morning at 9. Would you like to see the receipt?" But it wasn't just the Tesla confirmation. Above it, time-stamped 3 minutes ago, was an email from Janet Kolsky, CEO of Meridian Logistics Solutions. Subject: VP Promotion, effective January 1st. "I'm Emily Harrison, 33 years old. For the past 6 years, I've worked at Meridian Logistics Solutions in Portland, Oregon, climbing from a junior analyst to senior director of supply chain operations. As of tomorrow, January 1st, I would be vice president of strategic operations with a compensation package that would put my base salary at $245,000, plus bonuses and equity." Vivien is 29. She works part-time as a social media coordinator for a local yoga studio, making maybe $32,000 a year. She lives in a studio apartment in southeast Portland that costs $1,400 a month, $600 of which I've been secretly paying for the past 2 years. But Vivien has always been the golden child. "Let me see that," Dad said, reaching for my phone. I handed it to him. Watched his eyes move across the screen. Watched the color drain from his face as he read first the Tesla invoice, then the email from Janet. "Vice President," he read aloud, his voice barely a whisper. "Effective January 1st. Base salary $245,000. Annual bonus target $100,000. Stock options." He trailed off. "Stock options vesting over 4 years," I finished for him. "Worth approximately $800,000 at current valuation. More if we go public, which we're planning to do in 2027. Mom had gone completely still, champagne dripping from the tablecloth onto her silk dress. A dress that cost $600. I knew because I'd bought it for her birthday and she'd thanked Vivien for the gift. "You're a vice president?" Mom's voice cracked on the last word. "As of midnight tonight, yes." Vivien was shaking her head violently, her perfectly curled hair coming loose from its pins. "No. Oh, this is fake. You made this up. You're just trying to..." "Trying to what?" I asked. "Ruin your New Year's Eve? Vivien, you just told 32 people I was unemployed. At a party I paid for." "You didn't pay for this party," Vivien snapped. I pulled up my banking app, turned my phone so the whole table could see. The caterer. Miguel's Fine Dining. $4,000 paid December 15th. The champagne you're all drinking. Wine enthusiast. $2,400 paid December 20th. The flower arrangements. "Stop," Mom said. "The flower arrangements," I continued, my voice level, "from Portland Blooms. $800. The rental chairs, tables and linens. Another $1,200. The pianist." "Emily, please stop." Mom's hands were trembling. "Why?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. "So we can go back to pretending? So Vivien can keep telling people I'm a failure while I fund your lifestyle?" The room had gone so silent I could hear the pianist in the living room, still playing Chopin like the world hadn't just shifted on its axis. Uncle James, Dad's brother, cleared his throat. Emily, I think we're all just surprised. You never mentioned you were doing so well. I mentioned it constantly, I said. Last New Year's I told everyone I'd been promoted to senior director. Mom asked if that meant I was finally off the night shift. Mom's face crumpled. At Easter I mentioned I was leading a team of 67 people across 3 continents. Dad asked if I was managing a call center. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. At Thanksgiving I said I'd been headhunted by Amazon for a director position. Vivien laughed and asked if I'd be delivering packages. Vivien's face had gone from red to white to a mottled purple. You never corrected us. I tried, I said. For years I tried. And then I realized you didn't want to be corrected. You wanted your version of me. The struggling older sister who made you look better by comparison. My phone pinged again. This time it was a text from my assistant, Maya. Congratulations, boss. The whole team is so excited. See you at the VP celebration lunch next week. I showed the screen to Dad. He read it, then passed the phone to Uncle James, who passed it to Aunt Caroline. It made its way around the table like evidence in a trial. How long? Mom asked. How long have you been successful? The word hung in the air like an accusation. I've been making 6 figures since I was 28, I said. I bought my first investment property when I was 30. A duplex in Southeast. I live in one unit, rent out the other for $2,200 a month. Investment property? Dad echoed. I own 3 properties now, I continued. The duplex, a condo in the Pearl District that I rent for $3,500 a month, and a small commercial space in Northwest that houses a coffee shop. The rental income covers all 3 mortgages plus about $4,000 extra every month. Vivien made a sound like she was choking. I've been supporting both of you financially for 5 years, I said, looking at my parents. The mortgage payment. $800 a month. That's me. The property taxes you thought were covered by some county program. That's me. $2,000 a year. Dad's medical bills from the surgery 3 years ago. $12,000. I paid it directly to the hospital. Mom's champagne glass slipped from her fingers completely this time. It shattered against her plate, shards of crystal scattering across the table. No one moved to clean it up. The car repairs last year, Mom, I went on. $3,200. I paid the mechanic directly. Your new furnace 2 years ago. $7,000. I wrote the check to the HVAC company. I pulled out my phone again, opened a spreadsheet I'd been keeping. Turned it toward them. Total amount I've given you in 5 years. $87,400. Not including gifts, groceries I've bought, utilities I've covered when you called saying you were short. The number seemed to echo in the silence. We thought Vivien was helping us, Mom whispered. With what money? I asked. Vivien makes $32,000 a year before taxes. Her rent is $16,800 annually. I know because I've been paying $600 of it every month for the past 2 years. Vivien shot to her feet so fast her chair fell backward. You had no right to tell them that. You had no right to take credit for my money, I shot back. I was going to pay you back. When? I asked. When were you going to pay back $14,400? And that's just the rent, Vivien. That doesn't include the car payment I covered for 9 months when you were between jobs. That doesn't include the credit card bill I paid off when you maxed it out buying furniture you couldn't afford. That doesn't include. Enough. Dad's voice cracked like a whip. Everyone froze. He was staring at Vivien with an expression I'd never seen before. Something between betrayal and disgust. You told us you were helping with the mortgage. I was going to. You told us you paid for your mother's birthday present. That dress she's wearing right now. Vivien's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. You told us you covered the HVAC repair, Dad continued, his voice getting louder. You told us you paid the hospital bill. You told us. He stopped, his hands balling into fists on the table. You lied to us. About everything. I didn't lie, Vivien said desperately. I let you assume. You took credit for your sister's generosity while telling everyone she was unemployed, Uncle James said quietly. His tone wasn't angry. He was disappointed. Somehow that was worse. My phone pinged again. Another email, this time from Janet. Emily, forgot to mention in the official offer letter. Your new office will be on the executive floor, Corner office with city views. Building security will have your new parking spot ready Monday P1 level, spot number 3, right next to mine. Welcome to the C-suite. I turned the screen toward my parents without a word. Mom read it and started crying. Actually crying, tears running down her face and dripping onto her ruined dress. I'm so sorry, she said. Emily, I'm so sorry. For what? I asked. For believing Vivien? For never asking questions? For assuming I was failing because it was easier than acknowledging I'd succeeded. She flinched like I'd slapped her. You have a corner office, Dad said numbly. On the executive floor. As of tomorrow, yes. Today I'm still in my director's office. 12th floor, windows overlooking the river. It's nice. You've never asked to see it. The words landed like individual blows. We'd like to, Mom said quickly. We'd like to see your office. And your apartment. And your Tesla. He said the word like it was foreign. Would you? I asked. Or do you just want to make yourselves feel better about ignoring me for the past 5 years? Vivien was crying now too, mascara streaming down her face. I never meant, I didn't want to. You called me unemployed, I said. At a party I funded. After years of taking credit for money I sent our parents. After years of making me feel small so you could feel big. I'm sorry, Vivien sobbed. I'm so sorry. My phone pinged one more time. The Tesla delivery confirmation, updated. Your Model S long range will be delivered to 2847 Northwest Northrop Street, Unit 401, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Welcome to the Tesla family. I stood up, smoothing my dress. The Oscar de la Renta dress that cost $3,200, not that anyone had asked. I'm going to go. I have a 9 a.m. delivery tomorrow, and then I need to move into my new office. Emily, please, Mom said. Don't leave like this. It's New Year's Eve. I know, I said. And at midnight I'll be a vice president of a company that did $340 million in revenue last year. I'll be making $250,000 a year. I'll be driving a Tesla. And I'll be doing it all without your support, just like I have been for the past 6 years. I walked toward the door. The pianist was still playing. The champagne was still flowing. It was still a beautiful party. I'd made sure of that even though my name would never be on the thank you cards. Emily. Dad's voice stopped me at the door. I turned. Can we talk? Tomorrow? Or next week? Whenever you're ready. I looked at him. Mom. At Vivien still crying at the table. At the 32 guests who'd just witnessed everything. Maybe, I said. When I'm ready. I drove home in my paid-off Subaru, the one I'd bought with cash 3 years ago while Vivien told everyone I took the bus. Tomorrow I'd have a Tesla. Tomorrow I'd be a VP. Tonight I just wanted to sit in my duplex, the one I owned, and watch the city lights. My phone lit up at 11:47 p.m. A text from Maya. Team toast at midnight? I smiled and replied, absolutely. At midnight I raised a glass of champagne, the good stuff, $200 a bottle that I'd bought for myself, and toasted to the new year. To new titles. To new cars. To finally being done with making myself small. In 13 minutes I'd be a vice president. I'd earned it. And I'd never apologize for that again.